fact that so many people are coming to Houston region is outstanding. Even though the census says not many people coming at all, it is a sign of our success. And the Houston region is attractive because of our strong economy, good quality of life, affordability. But these attractive qualities are not guaranteed. To remain competitive, we must move forward. We must be forward-thinking, and we must push ourselves into sometimes unfamiliar territory. People don't want to live in a city, and quite frankly, people don't want to come to a city that feels stagnant. If it seems like we're not moving, if it seems like things are not happening, who wants to be a part of a city and who wants to come to a city if it seems as though we're standing still? Our region's transportation policy must be geared towards leveraging this growth into a more economically competitive, equitable, and resilient region. And when we talk transportation, we need to be thinking not just about moving cars and trucks, but about connecting people to economic opportunity, creating great walkable places that people can enjoy, attracting the next innovative workforce. And I put in here Amazon, but I don't like talking about Amazon anymore. Anything that snubs you, you don't want to give them a whole lot of attention. So we are creating our own in the city of Houston, and that's why the focus on innovation, on the innovation corridor, on TMC3. Microsoft, I love, love Microsoft. And then we have to focus on reducing flood risk in our city and in the region. We cannot think in narrow terms. We must make sure that our transportation investments create a compact, livable, and sustainable city that attracts major corporations and the most talented people and corporations in the world. It is all about enhancing connectivity and getting people to their destination as quickly and safely as possible. Today, I want to lay out the types of transportation projects our region should embrace to create a more competitive and livable Houston. And I want to start with transit. For Houston to be competitive and livable, transit is the most critical component of our future transportation system. And let me start by commending Metro, Karen, and the board on their development of a new long-range transit plan that is addressing growth in the region. Getting the Metro Next plan right is critically important to Houston's success, and the Metro Next plan should lay out the bold steps needed to keep Houston moving for the coming decades, even as we grow and our regional core becomes more compact. I encourage Metro and its partners and customers, all of us in this room, to find solutions to 4 issues as they define the Metro Next proposal. First, Metro Next must identify how to connect uptown to downtown, 2 of our largest activity centers, with fast and reliable transit. Connecting these centers will enable these centers to become even more vibrant and walkable while minimizing congestion. In order to connect uptown and downtown, I'm asking Metro to look at not just the Richmond and West Park corridor identified through the 2003 Metro Solutions Plan, but I believe we will also need a connector along I-10. These 2 east-west connections would complete a 4-sided network with Metro's Red Line and the Uptown Bus Rapid Transit System. This grid transit system will create a backbone for strong transit connections to many dense areas in our central city and can link the future bullet train station in the Northwest Mall area to downtown. And let me pause for a moment to reiterate the tremendous opportunity that the bullet train from Houston to Dallas presents to the Houston region. Imagine a relaxing 90-minute trip to Dallas, free of congestion, the ability to sit on the train and read about the city's budget line by line, invigorating and exciting. The challenge, had to laugh on that one myself. The challenge now is to, okay, Sylvester, get serious. The challenge now is to ensure the terminus of this rail at the former Northwest Mall site in Houston is redeveloped into a walkable and vibrant city of economic activity that is well connected to other activity centers with fast, reliable transit. I am pleased that Metro is planning for connecting the rail station to downtown, uptown, and other activity centers, since these connections are critical to leveraging the bullet train's opportunity while minimizing congestion. The second transit issue the Metro Next plan must address is the reimagining of the region's HOV system. Sustained growth has led to other dense activity centers developing around the region, not just inside the Loop or in the Galleria area. At the same time, more people are choosing to live inside as well as outside 610. As a result, we are seeing congestion in both directions of our freeways at extended times throughout the day. So in order to keep the region moving, the next generation of our HOV system must have two-way service on all freeways 7 days a week. Imagine if you could hop on a bus to come downtown to see an Astros game in the evening, hop on a bus to see the Rockets kick Golden State tonight. Or ride a bus just to come see all of the famous city council members as they work hand in hand with the mayor to build to build an exciting city. Who would not want to see city council members loving on their mayor and wishing them the very, very best? If only we have an HOV system going two-way 7 days a week. Or to be able, I promise you, I only had water to drink, Or be able to hop on an HOV system to go out to jobs in the Greenspoint or the Energy Corridor. Bearing in mind that the city of Houston goes beyond 610 and out to the outer limits, and ride a bus from the suburbs into the Museum District on a Saturday. Metro and TxDOT must work together to make this a reality. My third priority is to connect the inner city to both Bush and Hobby airports with quality, reliable transit. Our airports are the gateway to Houston for many of our visitors, and Houston needs a comfortable and convenient connection to and from our airports that provide visitors with a positive image of Houston. For Bush Airport, I am challenging Metro, as well as the rest of us, to explore fully a rail connection and to ensure TxDOT I-45 project accommodates such a connection. If rail to Bush is not feasible or practical, Metro should establish a signature bus service, and then Hobby Airport is also a hub for regional business travel, and an extension of light rail is a natural connection to Hobby. Metro should look to leverage its dollars with those of the private sector to maximize these transit connections. I fully know that Metro does not have the dollars to do all of the things that I'm talking about, but we have to be innovative and we have to be creative, and we have to be able to leverage the dollars that we have with the private sector, and hoping that in combination that we will be able to give the people in Houston and the people in this region what we need and not just what is politically expedient. We have to stop doing those things that are politically expedient, do those things that the region need if we are going to be competitive and if we're not going to lose ground to other cities, not only in this state, but across the country and quite frankly across the globe. We have to be bold enough to go to the next step. And in the limited time that I have as mayor, I want to do everything that I can to encourage us to be bold, to be decisive, and to come up with the necessary financial means to do what we know must be done. The fourth transit opportunity that the Metro Next plan must explore is the full integration of buses with the city streets they operate on. While I would like to see more high-quality rail and bus rapid transit options across the region, I recognize that bus is an economical and flexible form of transit, and most transit riders will rely on the bus for some or all of their trips. So let's take a look at creative ways to improve bus service. Let me give you an example. Many park and ride move rapidly once they're on the HOV lane and on the freeways. But a bus can take 20 minutes simply to traverse downtown. We must improve bus reliability and speed through activity centers on major thoroughfares. We must look at how we can improve bus operation on city streets through smarter signal timing, dedicated or preferred lanes, better sidewalks, and safer intersections. Providing travel time advantage for buses will be critical to improving ridership and providing everyone with an opportunity to move quickly about our city as we grow. The city is ready to partner with Metro to make this happen, and Metro Next should fully consider this potential. Before I shift away from transit, I want to say a word about technology and how is it affecting us as we move. Houston has been selected as one of 22 cities for the Smart City Collaborative organized by Transportation for America to explore how new technologies and new transportation options are changing the way we move around cities. We know that ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft are now commonplace and autonomous vehicles are rapidly approaching. These new technologies can and should be an important component of achieving our vision for mobility. These technologies can complement transit, or they should, by providing for last-mile service. The city and Metro are both looking into autonomous vehicles and how they can be used to our advantage. Autonomous vehicles hold promise for transit use, and I commend Metro again for researching an exciting pilot project for use of autonomous vehicles on the Texas Southern University campus. I believe the dedicated guideway for the Uptown Bus Rapid Transit System makes that project a potential opportunity for autonomous vehicles as well. I do want to say that despite their promise, autonomous vehicles or the use of ride-sharing services are unlikely to be a panacea that solves our congestion problem. If there's an accident, whether you're in a ride-sharing vehicle or an autonomous vehicle, you are going to come to a stop. So it doesn't solve our congestion problems. In fact, they may make congestion worse as more people use a ride-sharing service or is in their own autonomous vehicle. Are Uber, Lyft, ride-sharing services, and AVs changing the paradigm as it relates to public transit? Will they reduce ridership or complement public transit? What must be a part of our public transit design, or what must we offer to make our public transit system attractive for potential users? And what must we do to increase ridership? These are questions we all must answer. But I remain convinced that transit must continue to be the solution we look towards to move more people more efficiently in our limited right-of-ways. But transit is not the only solution. There are other important initiatives and policies that Houston must embrace to build a stronger, more resilient, and sustainable Houston. TxDOT, multi-billion-dollar North Houston Highway Improvement Project, will improve travel times for those going to and from downtown Houston from the north and for those traveling through Houston. This significant redesign of I-45 North and US 5969 through downtown offers a once-in-a-generation opportunity to fix many of the problems created when many of Houston highways were first constructed, and even to turn the freeway right-of-ways into civic opportunities for our region. The project will reconstruct I-45 from Beltway 8 to the north through downtown and include portions of I-69 and I-10 near downtown. You can think of this as fully reconfiguring the plumbing in our Houston house. I want to thank TxDOT, and I want to thank Quincy and your entire team, and Commissioner Ryan, for working very closely with us and the partners around the region to explore improvements to this design. This project is exciting because it has the potential to reconnect neighborhoods divided by the existing highways. It has potential to create great civic spaces for people to gather and more green space where the freeway can be placed below ground. Opportunities exist to create gateways with unique design and iconic bridge structures. Where we cannot create signature structures, we should do what we can to minimize the visual impact of the freeway and work towards making the freeway disappear once it is constructed. Because of the tremendous opportunity presented by this project, I have convened an I-45 task force of civic leaders to identify how the project can be designed to maximize the benefit of this project to our city. I want to challenge TxDOT to go beyond just listening to community stakeholders, but to actually change some of their plans to incorporate design solutions that are appropriate for an urban context. In the core of Houston, we need urban frontage roads with slower speeds and enhanced accommodations for pedestrians and cyclists. City street crossings of the freeway must incorporate these solutions as well. I'm very excited about the possibility this project presents. This project could be leveraged to help create the green loop around downtown Houston, a 5-mile transportation and recreation circuit that connects downtown to adjacent neighborhoods, first envisioned in the recently completed Planned Downtown. Imagine riding a bicycle or going for a jog around downtown Houston on safe, dedicated bikeways along our bayous and through park spaces. This, my friends, represents the future of our great city. I also encourage TxDOT to fully incorporate important infrastructure enhancements into the project, including the potential relocation of the existing east-west freight rail line along the north side of downtown Houston and channel improvements to Buffalo Bayou. The I-45 task force is also looking at major civic opportunities for green space in Midtown, downtown, the Edo, Third Ward, and other areas of this project. The city will be aggressively pursuing enhancements of this project and partnerships with TxDOT and other entities to maximize this opportunity. Many of the ideas that are being generated will require investments by the city, by the county, and our many partners in the private sector. Let's work together to seize this truly significant opportunity. I want to talk about bicycling for a moment. As we continue to develop a more compact urban core, Houston must become a more bicycle-friendly city. The Texas Medical Center has already proven this concept, where bicycling already represents about 4% of all travel trips, nearly 8 to 10 times the mode share citywide. This transformation is possible on a broader scale. We must do more to make Houston a safe place to ride a bicycle. The first step towards a safer system is strong, comfortable bicycle infrastructure. I want to thank Commissioner Rodney Ellis, who has kick-started our implementation of the new Houston Bike Plan. We are fully committed to using the $10 million he has contributed, plus our $5 million in the CIP fund, to build over 50 miles of new high-comfort bicycle facilities. And with the Commissioner's help, we will have these facilities constructed in just 1 year. The city also recently created a Safer Street program to identify locations of safety concern for pedestrians and bicyclists and fix these locations using relatively inexpensive yet effective solutions. I have asked the Houston Public Works Department to work with Bike Houston and the City new Bicycle Advisory Committee to start by identifying 10 locations of high priority safety concerns for pedestrians and bicycle riders. Once identified, Houston Public Works will evaluate these locations to assess whether the street design is contributing to the safety concerns, and if so, the city will quickly implement solutions to improve safety. Once we complete the first round of 10 locations, we will then reassess the program and consider extending it to the next 10. But bicycle infrastructure alone It's not enough to make Houston safe for people who want to ride their bikes. We must also work together to change the culture so that drivers are respecting people riding bicycles. And yes, people riding bicycles must follow the rules of the road as well. I cannot say this enough. Houston has a safe passing ordinance that all drivers must obey. That means that all drivers must maintain a minimum of 3 feet between the edge of your bicycle and a pedestrian, cyclist, or someone in a wheelchair or a moped, or if you're in Acres Home, a horse. And if, well, that's true. And if you're driving a truck or commercial vehicle, the requirement is 6 feet. The city is enforcing the safe passing ordinance, and you will be cited if you follow it. Please, let's make our roads safe. And lastly, I'd like to leave you with the last thought about the resiliency of our region. Resiliency and mobility are inextricably linked. In a post-Harvey world, we know we must use smarter transportation policy to create a region that is less prone to flood risk. Since I came to office, I've been pushing all of our partners for a paradigm shift in transportation investments, focusing our transportation investments in the core of our region rather than in the periphery will make a more sustainable, less congested, and more resilient region. In the past 5 years, over 50,000 acres of land are now experiencing development activity within 3 miles of the recently completed segment of the Grand Parkway. And much of these developments drain to Buffalo Bayou, Brays Bayou, Cypress Creek, and Greens Bayou. That means that over time, these channels will experience an even greater volume of runoff than they do today. Yes, I understand that these developments are required to provide detention for their runoff. And yes, there are drainage improvements like channel widenings or new detention ponds or reservoirs that will be a part of that solution. Still, Hurricane Harvey was a watershed moment for this city. This event demonstrated that we have to be smarter about our regional transportation investment strategy. The strategy of building new freeways through vacant land as a means to open land for development has serious consequences. It requires serious regional planning. Urban sprawl comes with a cost. Focusing on the core would create a more sustainable, more resilient, and less congested city. Houston's future must be building up, not necessarily out, to sustain our success. I am challenging the entire region to work together in this direction. As the Houston-Galveston Area Council develops its 2045 Regional Transportation Plan, I would like all of our regional partners to consider the lessons of Harvey and develop a 2045 plan that fosters a sustainable and resilient region. This is in all of our collective best interest. This is an exciting time to be in the city of Houston. Challenges, yes, and we have many of them. But this is a city that I know rises to the occasion. We have to find dependable, reliable funding sources to do the things that we need as it relates to transportation, transit, and mobility if we are going to be competitive. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, you cannot build a dynamic city on the cheap. I just don't know how you can do that. I just don't know how we can do it. More people coming into the city, we have greater demands. We cannot be second to the Dallas region. Quite frankly, we can't be second to what's happening on the West Coast or the East Coast. And I know people kind of get skimmish when you start talking about resources. But I can't think of anybody that's going to build a road or a transit city system without cost. I just don't know how we can do that. I just don't know. But what I do know is that people in our city want to go from point A to point B. And even with the census saying that our population is stagnant, please bear in mind that every day, Monday through Friday, the daytime population for the city of Houston increases by 27%. every day, Monday through Friday, it increases by 27%. Now, we're either going to face the realities that we are going to do what we need to do to meet our transportation transit needs, or we have reached a point where we're saying to people, don't come here or go someplace else. And I don't think that's what we're saying. And we have to be resilient all at the same time. So I do know when we play together, we win. The Astros played together. The Astros won. The Rockets are playing together. The Rockets are winning. And hopefully tonight they'll play together again. And they will win. But I want to leave a city, when I leave mayor, I want to leave a city that's more competitive, that people are more mobile, and can get people from point A to point B. And that's why I'm excited about this I-45 project, because it can be transformational, where we meet our transportation needs. But Quincy, when I look at the new configuration of I-45, I don't see the freeway. What I see are communities that are connected, a lot of green space, and people outside enjoying themselves. And the freeway is just there moving people from point A to point B. And it's going to take courage and imagination to make that happen. And we have to do it in collaboration with one another. So this is our moment. This is our time. And the question is, are we prepared to stand up? And the Houston that I know, and the Houston in which I grew up in, where I came downtown and looked and saw all those big buildings, the Houston that I know has always been competitive, and we always have risen to the challenge. That's the Houston that I know. I truly hope we have not lost that desire to be the very best. I truly hope we haven't. And I keep up with what's happening in Austin and Dallas. And Andy can tell you when they're doing things in Dallas late at night, I'm sending him a text and an email saying, what the hell is going on? And I did not like when we were shunned by Amazon. I didn't like it. And a part of their proposal was dealing with transportation. But we have to just stop talking about it. We have to start making it happen. And you have to have the resources to make it happen. So Jack, Andrea, Tag, thank you. But it's now time to move this city forward. And I'm hoping that you will join with all of us to say to the legislature and others, let's get going, let's keep moving. Thank you for having me. Go Rockets.